Good afternoon, everyone. So I want to start off a little differently. I want you all to put your phones down and close your eyes for a minute. Forget about where you are. And I want you to picture your future self standing in the distance. And I want you to go up to your future self. How do they look to you? Ask them what they've been up to, what they've been doing with their life, and how they feel. And are they happy? And if you don't like the answer or the feeling you get, then ask yourself right now, what do I need to do in order to feel good about my life in the future? Actually, what do I need to do to feel great about my life? And it's the moment now to take the time to think about where you see yourself and where you want to be in the future. I also want to ask you, what's easier? Sitting in class and waiting for someone else to raise their hand when the teacher asks a question or needs help, or raising your own hand? Playing video games, sitting at home, all comfortable, especially in the cold weather, or getting out to your local animal shelter and volunteering your time? Or what about passing by someone who clearly needs help or stopping to help them? Well, the answer to this question is they're all equally the same. It really just depends on what you choose to make a priority and what you care about. And today I'm here to talk about volunteerism and the power of volunteering. Over the last 7 years, I've been working in the nonprofit industry, and I've been managing volunteers, people who give their time. And I've worked with over 30,000 volunteers over the last 7 years. These incredible individuals, just like yourself, who are giving up their time, their talent, and their energy to give back and to get involved in something they care about and something that they're passionate about. I worked at WE and engaging hundreds and hundreds of volunteers per event, and currently at Operation Smile Canada, where I help medical volunteers get on missions to help children around the world. And the one thing that never ceases to amaze me is not only are they giving back and helping others in need, but they always say to me, you know what, Diana? I end up getting back so much more than I ever could have imagined, more than I ever thought I would get out of the experience. And that's the power of volunteering. I want to share a little story with you. So when I was in high school, I was asked to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I don't know about you, but that was kind of hard to do. And I felt like I was still young and just trying to figure things out. And so I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And a friend of mine was super passionate about the TV and film industry. So I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I would like to really explore that. I think that'd be really fun. So I had no idea where to start, though. And the one thing, though, that I found out was that in order to make it in that industry, you needed to volunteer your time. And so I picked a TV station, picked a radio station, and went to school full-time, and on evenings and weekends, I volunteered so many hours to gain experience. And that experience got me into one of the most highly regarded broadcasting programs at Ryerson University, which was quite incredible because if you really think about it, you know, it's that in that moment where you realize how much volunteering can actually help you in your life and your career. And so I went to university at Ryerson, and I decided wouldn't it be cool to volunteer or intern on a film? So I found one in New York City. They hired me on as a volunteer, and we worked in an abandoned jail. And at the end of long and tiring 16-hour days of volunteering, I was asked to pick up cigarette butts that the extras and actors had been smoking that day, one by hand. And I couldn't help but think, who would do this? And how did I leave home and, away from my family and friends to pick up cigarette butts off the ground? But I realized it was so much more than that. It was so much bigger than that. And so no matter what you choose to do, and no matter what type of volunteering you do, you really have to ask yourself, what am I gaining from this experience? And if it doesn't feel like you're gaining a lot, it's up to you to either look at it from a different perspective or find something else that you're passionate about. I also want to talk about the definition of a volunteer. So a person who is giving their time freely and willingly without pay. Well, I'm here to argue that you actually do get paid as a volunteer, and you may not actually get paid monetarily, given money, but you actually gain so much more. You gain community service hours, you gain experience for your resumes, and you also gain the satisfaction of knowing that you're giving back and that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And that's really powerful. There are so many people in this world that there's a need, they have a need. And it's people like you who are going to be the ones to help change the world. You have so much to give, so many talents, so many skills, and you have so much time. Now's the time to do it. You know, if you think you're busy now, that's cool. But in the future, when you have kids, a mortgage, and all those fun things, it really does make it a little trickier. But it's up to you to really figure out what's important to you and carve out that time to help give back. In Canada, 66% of Canadians who volunteer are between the ages of 15 and 19. Is that you? I really hope so, because I also know that there's this lovely thing that the government has introduced called community service hours. Well, lucky for me, they didn't exist in my day, but I know that they do for you. And so my question to you is, how do you see your community service hour requirement? Do you see it as truly volunteering out of the goodness of your heart, or do you see it as being voluntold to do it? And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because you have to do it. And so it's up to you to choose how you want to make the most of it and if you want to make the most of it. And so it's really easy to say, okay, I have these hours that I have to do. I have to find somewhere to volunteer. Oh, this is such a chore. What am I going to do? How am I going to get this done? You could look at it that way, or you could look at it like, wow, this is a really cool opportunity. This is something that I have to do in order to graduate, and I'm going to make the most of it. Because you know what? In life, it's really up to you. You can either work really, really hard, accomplish your goals, or you don't have to. You can take an easier route. It just really depends on where you want to end up. But I'm here to tell you that you are the leaders of the future. You are the ones who are going to change the world. And it starts now. And why not, let's, as Canadians, be the leaders. Let's be the ones that the world look to say, wow, those Canadians, they really got this. They really care about each other. And not just each other in Canada, but in the world. And so I have this question for you. Why not be that person in class who raises their hand when the teacher or a peer needs help? Why not be that person who gives back and helps others who are in need? Because the real essence of it is, if you don't do it, then who will? Thank you.